Hi there everybody, this is David, and I have some really cool news for y'all. You're gonna love this if you're a fan of the Trails series, because a Lost Trails game that was only released in Japan, Korea, and China, pretty much in Asia, has now been translated into English, and it is here for us to play. And I do want to tell you all about it, and I definitely think that's worth the sub, as I'm trying my hardest to level up this year. And with your help, you're liking your sub, I just know that I can get there. So thank you so much for that. So this game, it's an official game, and it was released by Falcom, but it was released back in 2016, again, only in Asia, never in the West, never translated into English, but now a fan translation project has occurred that has translated at least the prologue now into English, and you can play it on the PC. This is not a canonical entry into the Trails series, so you don't have to play it to know what's going on. It's not essential to play, but if you're a fan of the Trails series, you know that you're going to want to play it. I definitely myself want to play this. I want to go ahead and download it, and I will include a link to download it in the video description and in the pinned comment. So the game is called The Legend of Heroes Akatsuki no Kiseki, which has been translated into Legend of Heroes Trails at Sunrise, and that's an official translation from Trails of Reverie. That was, it was kind of referred to in the He Wants to Be a Millionaire minigame, they referred to it, so it is an official translation. And it takes place in Liberl, Crossbell, and Remiferia. How cool is that? You actually get to explore Remiferia, and it focuses around a group of bracers. So not only was this released for the PC over in Asia, it was released for the Switch, it was released for the PlayStation, it was released for mobile devices as well, but all of those things have been shut down over in Asia now, but we are finally now getting a translation. Unfortunately, whereas they got the full game, including the gameplay and the battling and all that kind of stuff over there in Asia, this translation project, for now at least, is only covering the actual dialogue. So you have to go into it thinking about it like kind of like a visual novel, you know? Just going on through and reading the story bits and the story pieces. So if you want to get more background information, then this is definitely the way to play it. They are looking into going ahead and, you know, translating in that gameplay and everything else and creating that gameplay experience, but right now it is pretty much just a visual novel, just so you can get the quick and dirty as far as the lore and the characters and things like that. It's pretty freaking neat, I've got to say right there. And this comes from a YouTube channel, Callum, who has translated all of this, and he even has like a little feature where people can report bugs and things like that on his channel too, so that's really great of him. It takes place in the Septian calendar, the year 1204, which corresponds to the intermission in Trails of Azure. So it takes place currently during the timeline of Trails of Azure, and it's centered around two bracers that fulfill requests for the Bracer Guild branches in Crossbell, Liberl, and Remiferia. And I'm going to read the story synopsis, just so we all know what's going on. I'm going to read the story synopsis from the Kiseki Wikipedia, and it says, in Septian year 1204, the Principality of Remiferia is terrorized by an unprecedented threat. Terrorist activities that started in neighboring nations eventually set their sight on Remiferia's capital, Ardent. First, a giant monster invades the city, and a couple of days later, the colossal aircraft Yorgamond occupies Ardent's airspace. These activities are orchestrated by the Warlord, a renowned arms dealer of the underground. The Warlord demands Ardent's surrender, but the combined power of Remiferia's government and the private sector drives the Warlord back. They also manage to prevent a planned eruption of a volcano north of Ardent. In the end, the nation announces the deaths of the plan's masterminds, the Warlord, and several key players. The only survivor, Kostas, remains informally imprisoned. The contribution of the trial team played a critical role in the resolution of the incidents, but its success was not widely reported per request of Lif, who feared that it would severely restrict the future endeavors of the team. So the trial team must be like the Bracer team or whatever, who, you know, brought down the bad guys and all that kind of stuff. So this to me is really just a cool project. I love to see, you know, the fans come together and do this stuff and do these fan translations, because if Falcom won't, the fans will, and it's just great to see them also preserving this game that has been shut down. But now I want to hear from y'all. What do you feel about this? Are you going to be playing it? Are you going to be checking it out? Let me know in the comments, and as always, have a good day.